Everybody's got a Christmas wish list, and this includes NFL teams and organizations and fans. Going into Christmas this year, which at the moment that I'm recording this is only 4 days away, let's see what all these teams want going into Christmas. So let's start with the Chiefs. They would like for their offense to actually play good. Their offense has just been okay. It's not the Chiefs' offense we're used to seeing, and it's worked out all right for them though because their defense has turned up in its place. So, yeah. And then we have the Ravens next. They're hoping for everyone, Lamar and all of their corners and their running backs and everybody that's injured, which is their entire team, to get healthy. And then the Saints. The Saints are probably hoping for a similar thing, but they're hoping for a competent offense. And unfortunately for them, I don't think they're going to be able to get that wish. It's really hard to have a very good offense when your best receiver is Marquez Callaway and your best quarterback that is healthy is Taysom Hill. Seahawks, they're just hoping for Russ to stay for next year. He is in the midst of not one of his greatest seasons. Also, the Seahawks are in the midst of one of their worst seasons in a long time. I would not be surprised if Russ wants out this offseason. I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Next up is the 49ers. A playoff win. With this roster, they're looking good. I think they definitely could achieve that. They may only pick up the 6th seed, but I think they could definitely beat anyone, or maybe not anyone, but they could beat plenty of teams in the playoffs. Next up, we have the Titans. All they're hoping for is for Derrick Henry to come back and really just save them because they are looking bad. They really need help, and I think the only one that's going to be able to provide that is Derrick Henry. And they say he might come back week 18. And then next up is the Packers. They want to actually win the NFC. I know winning the NFC divisional round is great, but if you take out the word divisional and just win the NFC, then that's a lot better. Making the Super Bowl is a lot cooler than making the NFC Championship. Next up is the Bills. It's just they just want to sneak into the playoffs because what are they doing? They gotta get it together. They're not playing good football against anyone, really. They gotta just be better. Next up is the Eagles. Their fans especially are just hoping for them to run the ball, run the dang football. That's what you guys are good at. So stop trying to throw it with Jalen Hurts all the time. Please. This is coming from an Eagles fan. Vikings, their Christmas wish list is to not give their fans a heart attack every single time they play football. They didn't do it last night against the Vikings, or against the Bears, excuse me. But they're pretty good at doing it a lot. And then next up, we have the Cowboys. They're hoping for Dak to play good. They might be winning games recently, but it's because of their defense. Their offense has not been that good lately, and I think that has to do with Dak not really being at his best lately. I think he can perform much better, and that will get them on the right track for the playoffs. Steelers, they just want to win the AFC North. They have a realistic shot. If you listen to my podcast, which I think you should check it out, then you'd know that I think that the Steelers are dead in the water. I've forked them. I just don't think they're good, but they're still alive at the moment. I just don't think they're very good. but they can still win the AFC North. The Colts is really just hoping that Jonathan Taylor does not get injured ever, because he's the savior of the franchise, it seems like, even though he's really not. Hope that Mac Jones, or there's the Patriots, hope that Mac Jones doesn't fall apart in the playoffs. I mean, he had a really rough outing against the Colts. They tried to make a late comeback, but it was in vain. They weren't able to get the win on Saturday, but that's just unfortunate. But Mac Jones needs to keep it together, not have playoff nerves, which a lot of rookies do tend to experience. Next up is the Rams. They're hoping that their offense can stay consistent down the stretch here. I mean, Odell's playing good. When Matthew Stafford's playing good, they're moving in the right direction. They're winning games. But when their offense isn't playing good, that's when they lose. And then the Texans, their wish is that they can draft someone to build around long term. The Bucs is hope that the playmakers on their team can stay healthy. The other day, I think it was just yesterday, Chris Godwin, it was announced that he had a torn ACL. So it's really unfortunate, but they're just hoping that Mike Evans and Leonard Fournette can get back on the field. And the Falcons, they're hoping that Cordero Patterson can carry them to the playoffs. I mean, he is an incredible offensive player. No team has been able to unlock him like the Falcons have, which I've thought he's been a skillful player all these years, but they just never really took advantage of him. Next up is the Browns. They want to get everyone off the COVID list so that way they can push for the AFC North title. Cardinals is just get it together. You can't lose to the Lions. Come on, guys. You got to be better than this. That is embarrassing. They're literally 1-11-1 when you went in to face them, and you lost by 18. This is not good momentum moving towards the playoffs. And then the Raiders, they need to not fall apart at the end of the season for once. They kind of have already done that. But they still have a shot at the playoffs right now. So, yeah. The Broncos' wish is just to make the playoffs. It would be great. They haven't made the playoffs since they won the Super Bowl back in 2015. It's been really rough ever since. I haven't found any quarterback that's very good. Teddy Bridgewater really isn't either. But this is a good enough team to make the playoffs. Next up is the Chargers. Get fans. Just find a way to get fans because you guys have none. Next up is the Bears. Fire Matt Nagy. Just do it. I mean, he is a painfully bad coach. Painfully bad. Next up is the Dolphins. They're wishing for less stupid Tua mistakes. You need him throwing less, crazy late game interceptions that you're like, what was he thinking as he threw this ball? You need him to just play okay. Don't be dumb. If he plays like Nick Mullins did just yesterday against the Raiders, then I think they'd be fine. They could push for the playoffs in that case. The